Next, gasoline prices in our area hit a 10-year high. What's fueling the increase? Plus, the hunt for a missing television anchor woman who disappeared nearly a week ago.
Dave launches a Laugh Out Loud week with Harry Connick Jr., stupid human tricks, and more, all tonight. Now, your local news.
Next, toll takers, strikes, and free rides. We'll have the latest live from New Jersey. And a farewell party in space as Atlantis and Mir get set to go their separate ways. And as actor Hugh Grant speaks out for the first time since his arrest, his supermodel girlfriend heads for Gay Paris. Plus, how to make science fun for your kids. Next.
This is Channel 2 News at 11.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Michelle Marsh in for Dana Tyler.
And I'm John Johnson. Will toll takers on the Garden State Parkway be next to walk off the job? That's the big question tonight after talks broke off this afternoon. The latest in a few moments. But first, the New Jersey Turnpike, where drivers just started riding free again. And the toll collector strike could be turning into a lockout. Channel 2's Lou Young is live from Exit 9 in East Brunswick with the latest. What is the latest, Lou?
Union toll taker Bill Lang tried to return to work at the Exit 9 toll plaza in compliance with a court order. Inside, though, he got the news from supervisor that the strike may be over, but what looks like a lockout is on.
I go inside, and all the sergeants can tell me is that I'm locked out and to go home and call tomorrow.
They call it a lockout?
Locked out, he said, yes.
The picket lines went down about 5 p.m. and the union told its members to go back to work in this toll taker strike. But even after that, the Turnpike Authority continued to process temporary replacement applications, stung by a strike that apparently caught them unprepared.
You still have an application, bring it with you.
The Turnpike was a freebie for much of the day. From 6 a.m. till about mid-afternoon, motorists were being waved through the 27 toll plazas. Then the Turnpike got its act together with the resumption of normal toll collection with temporary workers in the booths. Backups began developing at the exits and entrance ramps, even with today's light traffic. So taking the cue, some motorists were making plans to avoid the Turnpike if the strike were to drag on.
I'll go Route 46 the long way. It'll take me an hour to get home, but I'll take it.
By dinner time, though, the pickets were down. Union workers ordered back to work. It took a Middlesex County judge a little over an hour to come up with this court order declaring the strike illegal. He ordered the strikers back to work immediately. But the last-minute maneuvering so rankled management here, they told us they're not sure they want everybody back right away.
We have the right to discipline. And it might be appropriate discipline that they not be permitted the first day or the second day. That is a decision that we will make.
A live picture now of the toll-free Jersey Turnpike, a New Jersey State Trooper there to wave people through to make sure that they know that it is indeed a toll-free.
Okay, obviously we're having some audio problems with Lou's live report. We thank Lou Young for his efforts. And now for the situation on the Garden State Parkway. As we told you, talks between the Toll Takers Union and the Highway Authority broke off this afternoon. Does that mean a strike is imminent? Channel 2's Vince Dementri is live at the Raritan Toll Plaza with the very latest. Vince?
Well, I can tell you this right now, Michelle, that the 10:30 shift here in the Parkway of toll collectors is showing up for work. So for now, money is still being taken here on the Parkway. But the question is, for how long? Barring any last-minute agreement, the Parkway Workers Union is promising to go on strike. Minutes after receiving an offer from the Parkway Toll Collectors Union, state negotiators walked out of the talk saying they needed time to study the offer. The union imposed a 2.5-hour deadline for a response. They never got one.
It's a shame that it's come to this over something so stupid. I mean, we asked for a fair wage increase and the health benefit package. They don't want to do it. All I can say, I wish we can give you better news to our membership.
Easy for the union to say, but what about those that have to walk the walk for all the union's talk? Unlike the Jersey Turnpike, most of the tolls taken on the Parkway, about 70%, are done without humans. Automated machines swallow up the Parkway's set tolls of either 25 or 35 cents. So striking could be a huge risk.
How long are you going to stay out?
I have no idea. It's up to the negotiators.
Negotiators for the Parkway Authority won't talk on camera, but a Parkway spokesperson tells me the union's offer is complex and needs time to be studied. The fact, I'm told that no judgment has been made on the union's offer thus far. At issue, benefits and money. The authority has offered a 3-year deal with no raise for the first 15 months, a lump sum of $500 in the 16th month, and a 1.5% increase in the 3rd year. For a job that the Parkway claims takes about 3 hours to learn. Toll collectors earn from a starting salary of $19,000 to $40,000 a year, not including overtime. Part of that job also includes inhaling exhaust fumes and the constant risk of being killed by an out-of-control truck or car. Given all that, what's the chance of a strike tonight?
100% right now.
Now, the big question is tonight, when will the toll takers go on strike? When I asked a union official that very same question tonight, all he would say to me in a sarcastic tone is, when the sun comes up in the morning, I hope everyone here on the Parkway has a pleasant drive. Now, if and when these toll collectors go on strike, don't expect a free ride here like their counterparts on the New Jersey Turnpike. Unlike the Turnpike, here on the Parkway, most of the money, as I mentioned earlier, is collected by automated machinery. Reporting live from the Raritan toll booth, Vince Dimitri, Channel 2 News.
All right, thanks very much, Vince. 4 people are dead after a crash and explosion early this morning on the Garden State Parkway. It happened in Cranford Township. Police say a car driving the wrong way in the northbound lanes hit a van head-on, and the van burst into flames, that is. A courageous passerby pulled 2 people out of the burning van, but 4 other female passengers were killed. One survivor is in critical condition, the other is stable. The driver of the car is also critically injured. It's not known yet why he was driving the wrong way.
You may be among those wondering what's been pumping up gasoline prices. They're now the highest they've been in a decade in the tri-state area. As Long Island correspondent Jennifer McLogan tells us, that has motorists grumbling again.
It's like a big-time extra expense that you didn't really count on, you really didn't expect.
Filling up is getting really expensive, as nearly everyone on Long Island is suddenly noticing.
It's killing our pocketbooks.
In fact, this holiday weekend, gasoline prices on Long Island are at a 10-year high, according to the Automobile Club of New York. In the last 12 months, the price of a premium gallon of gasoline on the island rose 17.5 cents to an average of $1.64 to $1.75 at full-service stations. Regular at full-service stations increased 17 cents to an average of $1.53 to $1.56 a gallon.
And I thought in the summer the prices were supposed to go down.
But in fact, since the end of March, self-serve unleaded regular has climbed from $1.21 to $1.33. Some of it is due to environmental reasons.
We have been hit very hard with the changes in the type of product that we have to sell, along with the type of equipment that we have to use to dispense the product, so it becomes very costly.
For the Clean Air Act?
This is for the Clean Air Act, correct.
The Clean Air Act is an attempt to prevent further damage to the ozone layer. As a result, gasoline retailers say they had to install new piping, nozzles, and tanks. And some oil companies claim they initially ran out of the new reformulated gasoline and had to go to the open market, which caused a spike in prices. They say the March trade embargo with Iraq affected prices too.
Some blame the oil companies, others the retailers. Some consumers say it's obviously a case of supply and demand. But experts don't expect prices to drop anytime soon. So the tally from driving this 4th of July weekend may be more than you and your family bargained for. Reporting from the Long Island Expressway, Jennifer McLogan, Channel 2 News.
One good piece of labor news tonight. It looks like 18,000 New York City hotel workers won't be going on strike. A tentative deal was announced at City Hall today, averting a threatened strike for tomorrow night. The rank and file will vote on the deal Wednesday. However, workers remain on strike at the Drake Hotel, which is no longer part of the Hotel Association. Talks in that dispute broke off on Saturday.
And coming up next, Independence Day will mean freedom for a young man who's been in jail for a crime he insists he did not commit. Plus, the hunt for a television anchor woman who vanished without a trace nearly a week ago.
Also, the actor who was caught with a Hollywood prostitute and his supermodel girlfriend part company today. But will it be for good? And later, Storm's holiday forecast.
Well, let's hope that some of this nice weather stays with us for good. Some beautiful weather coming up from the 4th. And other changes coming our way when we come back.
A Queens teenager will be enjoying his freedom on Independence Day. Franklin Bruce was arrested for a murder he insists he did not commit, and he has now been released from jail. Channel 2's Mike Taibbi has been following the story, and tonight he has the latest.
Since Saturday morning of the long Independence weekend, Franklin Bruce has been free to stand in his Queens Village doorway and talk to friends, or not talk, if that was his choice. For more than 8 months before that, he was an inmate on Rikers Island, awaiting trial for the April 1994 murder of Ishnan Shakur, whose street name was Fish. But 2 weeks ago, we reported that 2 of Bruce's ex-girlfriends, the only witnesses against him, recanted their sworn grand jury testimony that Bruce had admitted the murder to both of them. The recantations were caught on tape in mid-May by a private eye named Myron Cherry, who's been hired by Bruce's lawyer.
Did Franklin tell you?
No, Franklin didn't tell me nothing.
Did he tell you that he killed Fish? Did he ever take you to a location where Fish was shot?
No.
Did he ever tell you he killed anyone?
No.
He never told you that he killed anyone?
2 days after our story, the assistant DA in the case, Richard Schaefer, said our report was accurate and he could not go to trial with his 2 lying witnesses. But he said that after the recantations, Queens detectives found 3 witnesses who said Bruce had fired a gunshot that grazed the arm of another Queens man, who we only know as Billy, a week before the murder of Ishnan Shakur, a totally separate crime. It took 2 lineups last week before one of the 3 witnesses identified Bruce as the shooter. Now, Bruce is free on the murder case on low bail raised by his mother, while the DA waits to go to a grand jury with a thin case in the attempted murder of Billy. Bruce says he did not shoot Billy any more than he shot Fish.
He's basically the same as the other one.
Yeah.
They just sprung both of them up on me.
He hedged on a key question I'd pressed in the jailhouse interview. But I asked you on camera, did you ever have a gun? And your answer was? And your answer now is what? You never had a gun.
Not mine.
Did you ever have anybody else's gun? But he said again he'd take a lie detector test, that he did not commit either crime, and talked about his return home. Is it fair to say that you're out of jail right now, but you don't feel completely free?
I don't. That's fair to say that. I don't feel completely free. No? I don't know what's going to happen next.
Sources tell us the attempted murder case against Franklin Bruce will be presented to a Queens grand jury next Monday. Bruce, who has no criminal record of any kind, tells us he wants to testify before that grand jury, without immunity, of course, and deny any involvement. Mike Taibbi, Channel 2 News.
Police in Iowa now think a TV anchor woman who's been missing for 6 days has been kidnapped. Jody Hughes-Truitt didn't show up for work last Tuesday at a TV station in Mason City. Police say they found signs of a struggle near her car at her apartment complex, and they found her makeup kit and hairdryer on the ground. Hughes-Truitt's co-workers are tying yellow ribbons outside the TV station, hoping she's okay.
The response has been tremendous. You can't drive around town without seeing either yellow or white ribbons in a show of support for Jody.
The station is broadcasting an appeal for help in finding her, and police say they're looking for a 10-year-old van whose owners may also have information that would help in the search.
The Grateful Dead played it safe by canceling a concert tonight after fans went on a violent rampage last night. 3,000 Deadheads who didn't have tickets stormed a fence at the Deer Creek Music Center in Noblesville, Indiana. They threw rocks and bottles at police officers.
I saw everybody all at once just run up and start jumping over the fence. And they were all getting over the fence, and then people started tearing it down, and then the cops put on tear gas, and everybody ran down the hill.
The police threw some gas, you know, that's their response. I mean, all power to them, you know. I mean, you have a situation like that, you have to control the crowd.
Tonight's concert was canceled to prevent any further violence. The show is not being rescheduled.
Did actor Hugh Grant and supermodel Elizabeth Hurley say their final farewells today? Hurley wouldn't say as she came and went from their English country home near London. She and Grant spent Friday night together, but she left suddenly on Saturday. The couple's 9-year relationship was put in jeopardy when Grant was arrested last week with a Hollywood hooker. Today he spoke publicly for the first time since his arrest.
I wanted you to get the picture so that perhaps you could... very kindly give the village some peace. That would be fantastic. That's what I'm saying.
Hurley later left London for a modeling job in Paris. Grant is scheduled to appear in court in Los Angeles on July 18th.
And coming up next, a possible new trade war with Japan. And farewells in space as Atlantis and Mir prepare to go their separate ways.
Also, science made fun. How you and your kids can get a real hands-on lesson. That's coming up.
It won't matter, and it won't stay because you are not a millipede.
They don't like you.
Ellen DeGeneres. With a hit TV show, a big book deal, and $1 million movie role, she's made it to the top. But what is this hot comic really like? Hard Copy takes you back to her earlier days to find out what she left behind. It's Ellen's Hometown Secrets. Plus, we'll show you startling videotape of a UFO that the U.S. military doesn't want you to see.
People need to know that this does exist.
The Air Force UFO on Hard Copy.
Tomorrow at 7 on Channel 2.
There may be a new trade war developing with Japan, this one over photographic film. Eastman Kodak claims it's being shut out of Japanese markets by restrictive government barriers. U.S. Trade Representative Mickey Cantor today announced an investigation. Under the threat of sanctions last week, Japan agreed to further open its auto markets to the United States competition.
It's been a day for saying goodbyes in space. Astronauts aboard the shuttle Atlantis and Russia's Mir space station have now sealed their hatches. After 5 days together, the shuttle and Mir will undock tomorrow. And so today, the 6 Americans and 4 Russians from the 2 spacecraft held a farewell ceremony and exchanged gifts. The 2 Russians who will remain on Mir got watches, tortilla chips, and Houston Rockets t-shirts. The shuttle is due to return to Earth on Friday with 2 other Russians and American Norman Thagard, who celebrated his 52nd birthday today. All 3 have been aboard Mir for the past 3.5 months.
Well, the historic work in space is fascinating stuff, but science can get pretty dry and, well, dull, especially for kids. So if you're looking for a place to spark their interest in learning, Channel 2's Dr. Peter Salgo has the perfect place for you.
If you believe the reports, American kids don't like science. That's not what we found at the Liberty Science Center in New Jersey. The kids we saw were having a ball. On the other hand, a National Science Foundation report that says parents don't understand science may have some truth to it.
Do you know more science than your parents?
Yes.
How do you know that?
Because I've quizzed them. Parents think they're so smart sometimes.
Are
they? No.
So we put the parents we found to the acid test. We asked a few simple questions. For example, where does the sun go after it sets?
It goes to the other side.
It goes to the other side
of the earth.
Nope. If you want the right answer, it seems you're better off asking a kid.
Nowhere.
Why not?
Because it just stands there because the earth moves around the sun.
The National Science Foundation is afraid all this parental ignorance is turning kids off to science, and that American technology is destined to lag behind the rest of the world. Not so, says the museum's director of learning resources, Mayor Hull.
I don't think there is a problem.
The museum, she says, represents lecture youngsters. It demonstrates science to them.
They just come here and they bounce ideas off and they start thinking.
And everywhere we looked, we found kids playing with science stuff, hands-on.
You won't bite me?
All the while, the parents watched, but from a distance, and with some typically parent-sounding advice.
Don't put your fingers in your mouth after touching the millipede.
Well, obviously, the key to science is curiosity. All the kids we saw today have it. Some of the adults seem to have lost it. So the trick is to hold on to it for the rest of your life. For example, I'm curious, what's this tarantula going to do next? I'm Dr. Peter Salgo, Channel 2 News, and I'll let you know.
He stirred up my curiosity.
Really?
I'm going to take my kid to that science center, yeah. Next, the Clintons head for a holiday rest after a big high school reunion weekend.
Also getting ready for the 4th of July celebration in New York, and Storm tells us if it'll be hotter than a firecracker. Hey, hey.
Closed captioning on Channel 2 News, underwritten by the American Express corporate card.
Will O.J. take the stand? And if he does, can he charm the jurors into believing his story? It's O.J.'s prized performance on the next ET.
Tomorrow at 7:30.
President and Mrs. Clinton flew off to Camp David today for a 4th of July holiday respite. Before taking off by helicopter, the Clintons spoke briefly on the South Lawn with members of the First Lady's Park Ridge, Illinois high school graduating class. The Clintons joined in a 30th anniversary class reunion last night. It was held at the Commerce Department at the Clintons' suggestion, but class members footed the bill. They and their families then got a White House tour today. The Clintons are due to return to the White House Wednesday morning.
The 4th of July will be celebrated with a bang in New York tomorrow night. The annual Macy's fireworks display will take place over the East River. This year, the event should be more spectacular than ever, with 2 simultaneous shows featuring over 20,000 shells. It all starts at 9:15 p.m. One display will be visible in Midtown Manhattan from 23rd to 42nd Streets. The other downtown can be seen from anywhere with a view of the Brooklyn Bridge. For viewing, the FDR Drive will be closed to traffic beginning at 7:30 p.m.
And Storm's going to provide us with flawless weather for tomorrow.
You
right?
guessed.
That's right.
Oh, well, I guess I've got nothing to say then.
That's it. Okay, we'll go on now.
Just read another story. No, we are looking for some nice weather. Had a gorgeous day today. More beautiful weather on tap for us for tomorrow, and a little bit of a change as the week goes on. Let's get into it. We'll show you what's going on and also tell you a little bit about what you can expect if you're heading to the beach or will be at the beach tomorrow. Put the clouds in place. And as we fly down, number one, you've got to worry about what's coming up at the end of the week. Low pressure system sitting out here in the midsection of the country. There's warm moisture that'll be sweeping up from the south. Right now, we've got high pressure on top of us. That's the nice weather that we have right now. However, as that high slowly drifts out, the warm weather is going to start to make its way up. You can see it moving in a little bit closer on the 4th, but not quite getting to us, although the evening of the 4th will be fairly warm, and you'll probably see a few more clouds starting to come in late in the day. If you're heading to the beach, air should be between 75 to 79 degrees. The water is warming up nicely. The winds from the southeast and seas are not too bad, 2 to 3 feet. And as far as the fireworks forecast, should be pretty good outside. And you might want, I don't even know if you'll need maybe even the lightest of jackets, maybe just a long sleeve shirt will do you just fine if you have a tendency to get just a little bit chilly. Temperature outside right now is 70 degrees. Our high today was 82. Overnight, it's going to get a little bit cold, especially in the outlying suburbs. And the reason for that is because we will have a little bit in the way of some light winds and fairly clear skies, which will lend itself to some radiational cooling. Temperatures in the surrounding suburbs getting down into the 50s, maybe in some locations in the upper 40s. Here in Midtown, around 63 degrees. Tomorrow, bright sunny start. A few more clouds at the end of the day, but nothing to interfere with watching the fireworks or a nice day at the beach. Temperatures, again, will be up in the 80s. And as far as the 5-day forecast is concerned, we do have some nice weather overall to deal with. However, we've got a couple of question marks in here. And the question mark all stems from the humidity and that unsettled humid air that'll be making its way up starting on Wednesday, late Wednesday, not early Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday, probably homing in on us as a frontal line passes through on Friday with a chance of some showers and thunder showers then. But tomorrow, great.
Okay, that's good. Thanks, Tom. Next, the Yankees take on the White Sox tonight as the Mets host the Cubs.
Also, some of the more bizarre moments in sports from this past weekend. Bernie has highlights next.
The Rent Guidelines Board decided that for buildings like this, rents will go up a bit.
A package bomb explodes as a pregnant Queens teenager opens it. Will the Stanley Cup champion Devils leave New Jersey?
2 officers are under arrest on charges of shaking down Hasidic rabbis in Brooklyn.
The cost of driving is about to take an even bigger bite out of your wallet.
Another week in New York, as seen by Channel 2 News. Have you seen your city today?
We want to update you now on the situation and the Garden State Parkway and the New Jersey Turnpike. On the Turnpike, drivers are riding for free again. However, that plan is to begin collecting fares by 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Also, union workers who obeyed a judge's order to return to their jobs tonight were turned away. A Turnpike Authority spokesman says that's because replacement workers were already in place. And the strike by Garden State Parkway toll collectors looms tonight. Talks broke off this afternoon, and the union says a walkout could start before morning.
How about some good news now tonight for New Jersey Devils fans? Both the team and the New Jersey Sports Authority announced today they are pleased with progress in negotiations to keep the Stanley Cup champions at the Meadowlands. Talks are due to continue during the week. The Sports Authority also postponed, at least until next Tuesday, any attempt to seek a restraining order to prevent the Devils from moving to Nashville. It's hopeful.
Keep talking.
Right. Enough with those Devils, though. It's the Yankees. They're on a roll.
Yeah, a little bit.
One-game roll.
That's enough at this point, isn't it?
That's right. We'll take it.
You're getting greedy. Jack McDowell goes all the way against his former team to win his 5th of the year. Yankees beat the White Sox 8-4 at Comiskey. We've got highlights. McDowell struck out 7, now 5-5 on the year, but in trouble in the first. 2 on. John Kruk. Boom. 3-run shot to center. The first for John Kruk this season. Off the blue out there. White Sox led it 3-0, but the Yankees came back in the 7th. Boom, tied 4-4. Danny Tartabull slams a solo shot to right. That's his 5th of the year. The Yankees led it 5-4. Defensive player of the game came in the Chicago 8th. Frank Thomas at bat. Watch this. Deep center field. Bernie Williams goes back to the wall. He leaps and got it. Robbed him of a home run. Pretty good. Yankees win at 8-4. Boston beat Kansas City 12-5, so the Yankees stay 7 back. But there is bad news for the Yankees tonight. They have lost pitcher Jimmy Key for the rest of the season. He will undergo rotator cuff surgery on Wednesday. That is major. Meanwhile, Shea Stadium tonight, Cubs send the Mets 17 games under 500. They beat New York 4-2. Well, you've got highlights. New York 3rd, Todd Hundley at bat. And that's a boom job there. Solo shot to right, and this is a major one. 9th of the year, the Mets led it 2-0 off the scoreboard there. But in the Chicago 8th, man on, Ray Sanchez, boom, off Bill Pulsipher, the rookie who pitched very well, struck out 9. Ray Sanchez had gone 911 at-bats before this home run without hitting one. Cubs beat the Mets 4-2. Pulsipher now 1-3 on the year. And in St. Louis, Mike Morgan came within 2 outs of pitching the year's first no-hitter. Cards beat the Expos 6-0. We'll begin in the 9th. Morgan against Will Cordero, who bounces one here to Scott Cooper at 3rd. He throws, and he beats it out for an infield hit. Morgan left after that. The Cards beat the Expos the final 6-0. Wimbledon today, top seed Andre Agassi breezed, as did the other top seeds. That included Pete Sampras, who knocked off Greg Ruzetsky in straight sets. Sampras will be in the far court on this point. That's good tennis. Sampras wins at 6-4, 6-3, 7-5. He advances to the quarterfinals. Well, Jeff Tarango will think twice before he bolts from a tennis match again. Wimbledon officials fined him $15,500 for walking out on Saturday. It's the largest fine ever imposed in the 109-year history of the tournament. Tarango had a call overruled by umpire Bruno Ribou. Tarango was nuts because he didn't like Ribou from previous experience and let Ribou know
You're the
it.
most corrupt official in the game, and you can't do that.
Court violation, verbal abuse, point penalty.
No way! That's it!
That's it, I'm going home. And he did. He walked off at that point. He was fined $10,000 for verbal abuse, $5,000 for not finishing the match, and $500 for yelling, "Shut up" at the crowd. And his wife, he yelled, "Shut up." And his wife, of course, slapped Ribou right after the match and refused to apologize for that. Thrilling family there. Finally, it is Monday. Time to catch up on the past 2 days. It's time for Weekend at Bernie's. We'll begin with the chicken. That's correct. There he is, sending mixed signals everywhere. Then watch closely. Dropped to his knees when he heard that Elizabeth Hurley might be available. The meat byproduct race of the day. It's the bratwurst, the hot dog, and the kielbasa. Oh, boy, they're proud of their meat in Milwaukee, ain't they? Golf shot of the weekend, Jack Nicklaus, Senior Open. Par 3 at Congressional. That's number 7. He nails it right on, nails it right into the cup for a hole-in-one, the 18th of his career for Jack Nicklaus. Nice job for the Golden Bear. Catch of the weekend, Wade Boggs with the Yankees with the drive to right center. Turner Ward is there. Got it. Great catch to rob him of a hit. Here's a guy really involved in this. Hey, man, you think Snoopy can really pitch? What do you think? Can Snoopy play baseball? And finally, happy birthday to Billy the Marlin, who turned 1 yesterday in a water fight with the Expos bullpen. He's got all his little mascot friends with him. The truck takes off, but out back here is Montreal rally. It's good. Oh. I think he put that on his resume, on his mascot resume. There you go.
I loved it.
Good.
Weekend at Bernie's.
That's Channel 2 News. For this Monday night, I'm Michelle Martian for Dana Tyler. Thank you for joining us.
And I'm John Johnson. Next, The Late Show with David Letterman, followed by Late Late Show with Tom Snyder. Have a good night. and a happy 4th of July.